Hey guys, it's me, Danny, and I'm about to give you 10 reasons why A Fall from Grace didn't make any sense to me. Number 10. We can start right where all of Tyler Perry's movies go wrong. The wigs. Tyler Perry. We do not need them. And I understand. I read the article where you said that you use the wigs to help people get into character. But if hair is the only reason why a person can get into character, that is not the actor for you. And you are giving them bad wigs, which means you're trying to get them into a bad headspace. And that's not okay. You got enough money at this point to provide better hair, wigs, hair pieces, hair ensembles, whatever way you want to label it, you have enough money to provide a much better look than the ones that you have. Number 9, let's just talk about Jasmine. I don't understand how, if after you have tried to lead us to believe that this is such a high profile case, this case was on the radio when Jasmine was going to work at the beginning of the movie. You mentioned that you were getting calls from the lawyer's office in the middle of the movie, and at the end of the movie, this was on the news. So this is supposed to be a high profile case. However, you let an inexperienced trial lawyer take this case to court. I would have at least expected that we would have seen co-counsel for this woman, given the fact that she didn't know what she was doing. At best, that's what should have happened. But we all know that you should have taken her off that case once Grace said she did not want to plead. But you, Tyler Perry, don't care about those kind of facts. You just wanted us to believe that she was going to triumph somehow and be this wonderful lawyer, which she also wasn't. She wasn't even good at getting this to be a mistrial for Grace. She was just bad. And number 8. Lawyers do not work in the public defender's office to pay off their student loans. I know that that's such a hot thing in the news right now, like that's a trending topic, and so you wanted to bring it up and try to make it relevant in these times. But Tyler Perry, they do not make enough money in the public defender's office for her to even have said that she just wants to stay there long enough to pay off her student loans, even though she hates her job. Now, I don't particularly care for my job, and I can tell you right now, it ain't never paying off a student loan, though I've already paid off my student loans. Thank you. Jasmine wasn't ever going to achieve it at the public defender's office, not in any type of time. So that is unrealistic either. I just don't be understanding. Did you look these things up? Do you know how much it costs to go to school these days? Do you know how much she needs to pay off? Do you know how much a public defender makes in Atlanta, where you shot this, so that you could calculate, could this realistically happen? Because I don't think you did, because I'm confused on how you thought that the public defender could possibly pay off her student loans working in that office. Doing please. Number 7. These occurrences that happened when Shannon was able to take pictures of her computer don't make any sense to me either. The first time these two supposedly have sex is after Shannon proposes to her and they're in the bed. There's no computer open while they're having sex, yet immediately afterwards, or very soon afterwards of having sex with this man for the first time, or what we should believe is the first time, Grace is on her computer doing work, and then set the computer down with the screen open with all of its passwords so that Shannon could then grab his camera and take pictures of her job. So we're led to believe that Shannon was so wonderful to her, that she was just so stupidly in love that she forgot to close the laptop while she was still naked in bed. I don't believe it, Tyler. I also don't believe that he came to work and just looked up on the fact that she had the computer screen open with all the passwords again there, and she was just so irresponsible with her job that she forgot to just close the screen out. This doesn't make any sense either. Tyler, this money situation, I'm confused. Let's talk. Grace's job did an audit on her department. Found out that $379,000 was missing, and that her computer moved the money. They knew that it was her IP address, but they didn't know where the money was moved to. And they just told her that she was fired and she could leave without security to escort her out of the bank. This was all also disclosed while the door was open to the conference room, which is right by the tellers, which means anybody who was going into the bank could hear about this information, which just don't make any sense to me. Also, I used to have a friend who worked at the bank back in the day. I remember her calling me one day saying, "Girl, do you know that while I was sitting here minding my own business doing work, the police then rolled up in here to one of my co-workers because she done stole some money at Christmas time and they done found out." This lady left out with the clinks on immediately, and she ain't steal $380,000. So I don't know how Grace was able to go home. Aren't you a flight risk at this point? If you stole $380,000 from your job, couldn't you just get on a plane and go ahead on and leave? They ain't called no police. They ain't even called security. They just was like, "You fired, go home, find our money, bring it back to us." Like, what was she supposed to do? Bring it back in the daggone briefcase? Tyler, I'm confused. I don't understand how none of this works. I don't understand how none of this works. Grace didn't argue the fact that the money was missing. She didn't ask for any proof that the money was missing. She didn't ask to see any paperwork. All she did was just turn around and go get a box and pack up her desk and go home. Like, is that how this happens? Somebody just come to your job and be like, "You stole money, you're fired, you gotta leave," and you just like, "Oh, okay, let me just go home and figure out where it's at." Hell no. You gonna be like, "Well, show me, because I ain't stole no money up in here. I need to see what y'all talking about. What computers? What IP address? Who got it? When was it moved? What day? I don't know. I need an investigation done my damn self. I'm not just gonna have a group of people just sitting in a boardroom talking about you fired, you stole some money, goodbye, and then I just walk on out. I'm confused. In every other Tyler Perry movie, the woman has to leave the house. Diary of a Mad Black Woman, she had to leave. The Family That Prayed, she left. The man always gets to keep the house. But Shannon get to stay in Grace's house and he don't have to leave and she don't have to leave either. They just both live in there. That doesn't even make any sense, Tyler. How come all the women can't never have the rights to a home, but this man who already stole the money, and he already knows that house is going to foreclosure because he know they ain't paying nothing, because he also stole $50,000 from her bank account. So he doesn't need this house. So why is he insisting on staying there? Doesn't make sense to me. Number 3. Grace goes and grabs a bat and hits Shannon upside the head with it. She hit Shannon upside the head 11 times. I counted it. There was 12 swings, but that last time was barely. She was just like, ugh. The last time. But before that, my girl was going in. And just the second blow cracked his face open so hard that blood was just like everywhere. It was all over her face, her clothes. It splattered onto the wall. There was a whole bunch of blood on the lampshade that was across his face. There was blood everywhere from just the second blow. So you telling me that she continued to hit him in the same place 10 more times and he ain't dead? This was a bat that didn't even splinter. I mean, this bat was strong. A wooden bat that never splintered, and she cracked him upside the head 11 times, and he ain't dead. All he needed was a little bandage up. And if memory serves me well, the bandage with the blood was right here, but she was hitting him over here. So I am confused, Tyler. How does this happen, bro? I mean, I ain't a doctor, but it seemed to me like my mans would not be able to just be walking around just a couple of weeks later if he had a crack over the head. And if it wasn't that bad, why was he still bandaged up a couple of weeks later? I am so confused. Number 2, When Jasmine is preparing for the trial, she says that she wants to put Sarah on the stand. Her co-workers think this is a bad idea. That's the only other person who is even involved in this whole matter. But what was Sarah supposed to say? She wasn't going up there to say that she knew about some abuse, which hadn't really occurred. He was just a little bit, toxic at best towards Grace. Nobody has even brought up the fact that all of this was because he stole money from her. That was never her defense. I guess because we never saw what her defense was. So we don't even know what Sarah's purpose would have been for going on the stand, except to just be like, she was a good friend, she was a choir director, and she baked cookies for what kids, I don't even know, because she don't have no grandchildren. And like, what? Which leads me to the number one reason why I'm confused on how this was even a thing. There was no body. Nobody ever discovered a body. Nobody has a body. And the only people who knew that she supposedly killed this man was Grace and Sarah. And we just heard that Jasmine was saying that she didn't think that the DA even knew the call came from Grace to Sarah to report a murder. Even if they knew that there was a call between the two of them, how would they know what that call was for when they didn't have a body? So I could have been calling my friend to say anything I felt like it, because I didn't have to be calling my friend to talk about a murder when you all can't even prove there was one. Why were there pictures of blood? Who took them? Because nobody even knew that a murder occurred. Who called the police, Tyler? Who called the police? None of this makes sense. There was no body for a court date. There was no reason for this to be a high profile court date. I am so confused. Listen, I love all forms of entertainment, and I understand that we are not going to get it all right. I do not hold any author, any director, any screenplay writer, any of the actors to such a high standard that everything needs to be perfection. But when you tell me that you shot a movie in 5 days and that you can write one in a week, then you need to let me know that you have done the research beforehand and all the prep beforehand, that you try to give me the best product possible. When this is your soundstage and all of your products, we do not need a rush on any of these things. You could do it right, but it seems to be, Tyler Perry, that you don't care about your audience that much. You seem to think that we're not that bright and we don't look out for all of these mistakes that you are making. But that's not the truth, Tyler. Some of us have been writing for you for the last 20 years, and I don't believe that your movie that you make this year should be the same as your first movie you made 15 years ago. But that's just me, and I'm just saying.